they have to get the cream from someone.
We've started again.
We've started again? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have this, we have our 96 ounces. A lot of tea. If you're working with 96 grams. Yeah, I do. 96 grams. That's a lot of tea. If you were in fact doing the math, it's got to finish at 3 grams a cup, then you're going to find that that's approximately just below 30 cups.
It's 32 cups.
32 cups. It's just about 30 cups. It's 32 cups.
Depends on how much you spill.
That's how much tea.
Well, wait, will some of the water stay in the tea?
Not really, no.
Minuscule amounts.
Minuscule amounts.
Okay.
Not enough that we calculate it. That's how much tea we brew in the cold brew. We're going to try to brew about 6 batches of cold brew in that. 3 different varieties. We're going to try to have a black tea, green tea, and herbal. In cold brew every day. And so we're going to have the one, and then we're going to have the backup.
Right.
It might not be enough.
Yeah. Because, I mean, while we've been saying, oh, it's this many cups, that's an 8-ounce cup. Our smallest cup is 12 ounces. Now there's ice in there, so it evens out a little bit. But
We also have no idea how popular it's going to be.
Yeah, there's ice in there, it evens out a little bit. We have no idea how popular it's going to be.
Now, when you put the water in there, does it matter if it's hot, cold?
It does. It does matter. You're actually going to notice that I screwed up a little bit, but you're going to notice that I sprayed the basket down with a little bit of hot water. This is because tea, like coffee, blooms a little bit. But tea only reacts to hot water. However, if I had filled this whole thing with hot water, then I would be brewing hot tea, and I would be letting it sit there and get super bitter. Because 6 hours of bittering up is not cool. So then you're going to want to go, so you're going to want to spray the basket down with hot water, and you're going to want to go straight to cold water so that I can brew at cold water. I did a little bit more hot water than I meant to, because I wasn't paying as much attention first, but second, because in this case we're trying to brew it at the lower end of its potential. Because I want y'all to try
it with hot to bloom.
Spray the basket with hot water first to bloom.
How hot?
Just
Tap
say
warm?
Yeah, tap warm.
Okay.
So the container is 2 gallons.
The container is 2 gallons.
You put something inside of it, so it's not actually going to be 2 gallons worth of liquid in there.
And it doesn't make that big of a difference. It's fine. I've already done this math, people. Don't make me redo it.
Oh yeah,
That
if you do
was
the
just
math,
people
if it is 2 gallons, you're roughly going to get 21 12-ounce pours.
Yeah. So we're looking
That's
for.
severely decreased from 32.
but there's ice in there.
Yeah, but there's ice.
So we're not
which means that,
doing 12 ounces.
Which means that it's not just 12 ounces going in. Now I'm covering this right now. We won't have to cover this in the shop because we're brewing at night. But I'm covering it right now because tea, like coffee, reacts to light and heat and air. And in the shop, it'll be fine if I left this pretty much uncovered. If I left this pretty much uncovered, I would be brewing sun tea. If any of you have ever brewed sun tea, sun tea is very similar to cold tea, except it's brewed with the heat of the sun as its heating method. Basically, you take the tea leaves, you put them in water, you set it in front of a window, and you let the heat and the light brew on it. And sun tea brews a little bit faster than cold brew, but it comes out a little bit weaker.
And it stays for its entire life in the temperature danger zone for food safety.
Yeah, that's true too. So I'm covering this right now to keep the light away from it. Because we're working during the day and during the light hours. And that's going to stay for about 6 hours, and we're going to tie it before you leave. Okay, so back to this guy Juan. And don't worry, Alberta, there's plenty of tea for you to drink.
So who's Juan?
Guy Juan.
Oh, Guy Juan.
Yeah, this guy Juan. Back to this guy Juan.
I thought you said Guy Juan too, like Guy.
Okay.
Juan. It's not just
G-U-Y.
G-A-I.
No, I know. Yeah.
W-A-I-N. I
Okay,
was
no
completely
time.
aware of the pun that Mom attempted to make and decided that it was not worth responding to.
Dang. She's in the zone.
Cold. I'm in the zone. I'm cold. Okay,
I'm gonna remind her of this.
so. Shh. I'm working. Okay, so. We are, okay, so this guy Juan. You have this. You have 3 parts to the guy Juan. And it's very simple. You have the plate, you have the cup, you have the lid. Okay. So this is going to be, you're going to notice that this is less than 8 ounces. In fact, this is about 4 ounces. So it's about a half a cup rather than a normal cup. You notice that. What you're also going to notice is that I'm still going to tell you to brew 3 grams in it. That does some really fun stuff to the math here. Okay. In general, as a general basic rule, when brewing, white and green tea should brew between 2 and 3 minutes. I'll let you write this down because this is important.
And this is also going to go on the labels of all the jars. Can you pass me a pen, Stephanie? Yes, I have a few of those.
Yes.
Yeah, so in general, white and green tea wants to brew between 2 and 3 minutes. Oolong and black tea wants to brew between 3 and 5 minutes. There is no tea, except for Dad's tea, that wants to brew longer than 5 minutes.
That's
3 to 5 minutes. Now, many of our tea people, and I will endeavor to provide this information on the jars, as Stephanie said, but many of our tea people have added some other information on their bags for us. Okay. In general, green and white tea would like to brew at about 170 to 180 degrees. Black and oolong would like to brew between 190 and 200 degrees. Again, there's no tea that wants to go above 200. Okay, so you're going to notice that all of these temperatures are below boiling. It's important to notice. Now, some of our people have provided for us in these cool little bags. And now you won't have a long time to be able to check out these cool little bags because I'm going to try to decant this into our decanters as quickly as I can. And I will attempt to provide the information. But if you look at the bottom there, where it says Moroccan Mint, it says steep at 2 minutes at 185. That means that our wholesalers have decided that's the best way to get the flavor they intend us to have out of these bags. Alright, that's it right.
Thanks, Ivana.
This Moroccan Mint is a green tea. And you notice that I said green teas want 170 to 180, and that said 185. So there are definitely exceptions to the rule. Okay, so back to these guy bombs, and back to the way they work. Let's start with, let's start with the rolled green tea, because I promised you that I want that you could see how it rolled and unrolled. Okay. What you're gonna do, and I don't know how well Allie can see this, but what you're gonna do, I'm gonna detail every moment. is you're going to place the tea directly into the container. Okay? So I'm going to go for about 3 grams. Okay. I'm going to take one of these to show Allie what's going on here. Okay, so Allie, we're talking about how rolled tea unrolls. So this is what a rolled tea piece looks like. Okay, so I have preheated my water to 170. I'm going to take it, and now Gaiwans, when they were originally designed and originally used as a part of the tea ceremonies, were also designed and used for re-steeping. I'm going to sit in that later, it's going to hurt. Anyways, Gaiwans were originally designed to help with re-steeping. Re-steeping is where you take the already brewed leaves and you use them again. And in general, tea leaves can brew 2 or 3 steepings before all you're really doing is getting bitterness and gross. So, you know, that's really cool. We will be attempting to provide tea leaves to our people, even though we're going to be brewing. More on that when we get to the pots. So the Gaiwan, I'm going to fill this up with my water to about there. I'm going to take my lid, where's my lid go? And I'm going to stir it with my lid a little bit. Just gently, just move a little bit. Put the lid on there. I'm going to count to 30. Now you remember, I said that green tea wants to brew for about 2 to 3 minutes. In this Gaiwan, I'm going to count to 30. Because that's as much as this first brewing wants. After that, I might go a little bit longer if I were to re-steep it. Now at the shop, when we brew the Gaiwan, we're not going to double steep the brews in the Gaiwan, because you don't want somebody else's leaves used for you, and this is just for a sample size. So I think I have about 10 more seconds. Okay. The trick here is to not burn yourself, even though this is a 175 degree container. You're going to hold the lid, much like you did the French press. You'll notice that I put the lid between my 2 fingers, and I am now pressing down a bit. The next trick is to attempt to pour this without getting the tea leaves. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
The next trick is to attempt to pour this without getting the tea leaves in the cup, because we're not Chinese. We're not going to tell our fortunes here. They're in the pod. I'm still working on making pink on but I managed to brew a little more than a half a cup. I say a little more than a half a cup because I gave you a half a cup and I spilled this.
It's not good though.
Yeah, this is just straight green tea. You can taste it if you want.
Oh, but there will be like grips on it.
Yeah, we bought finger grips because the first time I did this, I gave myself some 2nd-degree burns. Yeah, I did not realize stupidly.
Yeah, little silicone
finger grips. Yeah, the really finger grips, it is policy to use them.
Okay.
I will say something every time I see you using an Gaiwan without them. Okay.
Mostly I would say,
Here's the
do you
important
have
part.
Kevlar for fingers?
Pretty much, yeah. Here's the fun part. Check out what happened to those leaves.
Now see, that's what I was envisioning from the very beginning, like leaves kind of barely rolled up, but not as huge as that.
Yeah, they've come unrolled in a lot of ways. And I'm pretty sure tea leaves are pretty combustible as well. So,
That'll go in
it'll
the
be,
compost. Or no?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put a garbage can by the coffee station that is just for compost, no garbage. And
Yeah, we've got one of
grounds-
those already, actually.
Awesome. Grounds and tea leaves can go in that. That's it. Okay. Anybody sample the tea? It comes out at pretty much tea strength, even though it only did 30 seconds. That's important to know because if you set up gaiwans and you walk away, you have to redo it because you're going to come back to a bitter brew. Gaiwain. Yeah, you're going to come back to a bitter brew. And every time that you spend too long, you have to re-brew. We're not giving out bitter brews.
So when we do a flight samples, we're gonna set up the 6 gallons with the leaves, and we're gonna pour them all, and then we're going to dispense them all. That's cool. That's how they all go out at the same time.
Yeah, and honestly, as far as timing goes, like, you don't have time to walk away. You have 30 seconds to make 6 2 ounces of different teas.
This is why Alice is the one in charge to start.
Yeah, this is why I'm the one in charge to start. So your 30 seconds to make 6 2 ounce pours of tea. And we have, what, 6 gaiwans, a little bit more? We have at least 6 gaiwans. So you're going to take the gaiwans,
I think I got like 2 dozen.
you're going to distribute your teas, you're going to start your teas, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it's basically time to pour 1. By the time you've managed to pour out water for 6. So by then you're like pour, and it's going to go pretty quick, a lot faster than you might imagine. Until you really have it out, and then it's going to go a lot slower than you might imagine. Time is weird. But yeah, so you don't really have time to walk away. So if you do walk away, you have to rebrew. It's 30 seconds.
What do the little cups look like that we're going to be pouring into? Are they white or clear?
They're clear, and I don't have
It's going to
them.
be pretty.
Yeah, that's a part of the point. I don't think I currently have any Brew Voices or fun colored teas right now. But color, I got the wrong cup for this experiment. Color is important to a tea person. And what a tea person calls a beautiful color is a little different. Oh, I say what we got a little leaf in there. A little different than what others do. Like that is a lovely green tea color. It's a little bit yellowish, a little bit green. It's just, it's light, kind of see-through. It's a good green tea color. If it was dark or if it was cloudy or any number of different things, it would tell you things. A dark and cloudy green tea is bitter because you probably overbrewed it. Black teas are a little bit different, but a light black tea is either underdone or of a high quality. Darjeelings are black teas that are see-through for the most part. Okay, so anybody want to get their hand at brewing a gaiwan really quick? I'll go. Okay, these are my whites and my greens that I am offering for today. Let me retemp. Water's cool down a little bit. Let it retemp for a second, and then you can do. Yeah, then you can have that. This is actually a winter white chai, and it's really good. We're all gonna try some of these.
Oh, the winter white?
From this point, there's going to be a lot of drinking.
Yeah, it's
Good
very
I
subtle.
was about to say,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now what kind of drinking you talking?
Alright, check it out.
All of them.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, all of these are cooled down.
Picking out the teas that the shop was going to carry, we had a lot of samples sent here. And we would invite some of our close friends over to,
For tea party.
and everybody would give their tasting notes. And yeah, our favorite was our friend Holly, who would say, "This is hot leaf juice."
No.
Or
Favorite is
Angel.
our friend Angel.
Oh yeah, Angel.
They-
They had the best comment.
Yeah, Angel, when they tried something that they didn't like, no, why? Why would you put this in my mouth?
None of them liked my favorite, so we don't have any Genmai cha, which is a green tea that's got toasted rice kernels in it. It was actually a poor man's product because it kind of stretched the tea supply.
We recently learned tastes like cat urine.
They think it tastes like cat urine. I disagree.
That's not fair.
No, matcha is different.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said much better.
No, Genmai cha.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Matcha is a different drink that we should probably talk about.
We don't have any though.
We don't have any. I don't have any
I think I
because,
still have some, but I hate it. I guess it's
that's
an
probably because you haven't, no, actually it's probably because you haven't brewed it, properly.
That's undoubtedly
Which
correct.
is the reason we don't have any, honestly. Matcha is another ceremonial drink, as far as tea goes.
And it's actually from an age or two ago in tea. It's from when tea was consumed whole, not as an infusion, which is one of the earlier ages of Chinese tea.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they dried the tea and then they powdered it and they just mixed it into the water and it makes this slurry kind of. And it's,
3 grams of tea?
3 grams. You there? And to do that, they actually needed a special brush that actually kind of looks like this. Now don't use this in tea, this is mom's dish brush.
It really should be thrown away. I can't, because it's.
well, actually, it's a whisk and it's hollow in the center. Like it looks a little like that on the
It's
outside.
a little,
It's a fermenter.
yeah, but it's,
so-
and what they do is they take the powder, the matcha powder, I'm sure you've heard of that, and they take the powder and they add the tea and they whisk it until it foams really nicely. And that's matcha.
What did you made matcha, macaron one time, Stephanie, didn't you?
No, yeah, I tried to.
Yeah. That was my last experience with matcha powder.
I think wasn't it biscotti I was trying to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of biscotti. I'm not good at it yet.
Scotty's
So,
off the menu. That's a moment.
but it's true that a good biscotti is close to vegan because it's a lot of egg. Well, I don't remember if there's egg, but I know that true biscotti there's not supposed to be butter, although it'll crack your teeth open. So,
It's probably like Tyrone.
yeah, kind of.
Maybe easier to filter corn this. I just thought of that. But we won't have that in the shop. But we will have water glasses in the shop. Well, no, not for this pour, I guess. This
Yeah.
pour again, we're pouring into these little 2-inch. They're really cute. They're clear and they have like industrial 2-bar handles. And they're really cute. And they're 2-ounce pours and they're pretty neat. Ooh. Yeah, hot. I will pour if you do not want to attempt to burn yourself.
I will do my best. So, I'm halfway there.
Like,
I'll volunteer a tribute for that.
okay. So what you're saying, I volunteer to shoot you. You did the winter white?
Yes. Oh no, I got late.
That's okay.
It takes a minute. Yeah, go ahead and sniff this.
Smells really
This
good.
is amazing
Very bright.
stuff.
Ooh, that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna brew everybody some of this stuff as we go.
Yeah, that's good.
We are definitely gonna be trying this stuff.
Remember to
Wow.
be aware of the cinnamon allergy.
Yeah.
I have been aware.
Okay.
Honestly, all of these ones that I've chosen do not have cinnamon. I did not stay aware of the vegan. But
Okay,
I did stay aware of the cinnamon allergy because somebody might die.
just double checking.
Wait,
We
you're allergic
do,
to cinnamon? Oh, okay.
we do have a tea, at least one tea that is cinnamon. We have an apple cinnamon coffee cake, really fantastic. Sorry.
You don't have to stay away from
But
it.
it has cinnamon in the name.
Yeah, it has cinnamon in the name, so that should tell you.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic.
You can have the creme brulee. Oh, really good.
Yeah, it's
This
a
is
really,
good tea.
it's a nice, it's a really nice tea. Anybody else want to play with the Gaiwan a little bit?
I'm okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Go ahead, Scott, if you want
Spill some tea.
I probably will.
We are gonna keep playing with it for a while as we brew some of these others. Basically, all of these teas are gonna brew at the 30 seconds. Despite the difference in the pots, where they want that different timing. In the Gaiwan, they're gonna brew at the 30 seconds. Okay, so we're gonna come back to the Gaiwan because it's a great way to sample things. But in the meantime, because there's a lot of us, we are going to sample using the pots. So we make a couple pots of tea to really make the samples. Okay, teapots. Now this is something most people are familiar with, but I'm still going to talk to you kind of like you're not.
These pots are special.
Yeah, it's no offense, it's just easier to start from the bottom, you know? Alright.
Start from the bottom.
Now you.
So, teapots have the spout, the handle, and the pot.
And a song.
Yeah.
Short and stout.
So the song that's not mentioned is the basket. These baskets came with these teapots, and again you'll notice that they were very fine microfiber baskets because we were attempting not to put inside. A dirty cup just looks better. It really does. And then of course there is the lid. Now these teapots came designed for themselves, so it's really easy to just fit and set. Okay. We are going to brew the winter white first. Now these teapots, we have two teapots. These teapots are 40 ounces, which is 5 cups. And if you do 3 grams per cup, that will tell you to do 15 ounces, 15 grams in the big teapots. Which you'll notice is this teapot. And I point that out because to me, 40 ounces sounds like a lot, right? You know, it sounds like a really big one.
Yeah.
This is normal teapot size. So don't confuse yourself and look for a really big pot when somebody orders a 40-ounce pot of tea.
Now,
What
what
you're
we
looking for.
what we've named them, what people will be ordering actually, is a mini pot and a sharing pot.
Yeah, this is the sharing pot.
This is the sharing stick. We'll go around the circle. When you hold it, you can talk.
Yeah, this is the sharing pot. At a 12-ounce small cup, which is our small, you can get just over 3 cups out of it.
Now,
That's what we
however,
were looking for.
we're serving with teacups, which are 6-ounce cups.
Which you can get
Almost 7 cups.
6. Yeah, almost 7 cups. You get 6, almost 7 cups out of it. We also have a 14-ounce teapot, which I do not have to demonstrate to demo for you today. But it is considerably smaller, being
Is that the mini pot?
third. That's the mini pot, right? That's the small pot. It's considerably smaller, being just under half as big. So instead of looking for a jumbo pot when somebody orders a sharing pot, remember to look for a small pot when somebody orders a small pot. It'll help out. But they're pretty much set up the same way. And these filters are not interchangeable. Like this filter is designed for the jumbo pot. The small pot filter will be too small. So these filters are not interchangeable. Okay. So I'm looking for 15 grams of tea. And you're going to want to be careful because you're going to notice this doesn't stand by itself.
Now what you can do, Alice, you can put it in the pot and then
Yeah, you
measure.
put it in the pot, and you put the pot there.
Flat bottoms are helpful.
Okay. So. Now some teas are bigger than others. We're going to look at a toasted coconut tea here in a minute, and it's going to be infinitely smaller than this tea,
Which is exactly why we go by weight.
which is why we go by weight. But I do want you to see kind of how much this is going to be. Okay. This is 15 grams of winter white chai.
Now you were going to talk about the stems and stuff.
Oh yes, I was going to talk about the stems and stuff too.
'Cause
This is
that was
actually
in there.
this is actually a no. Actually, these are leaves.
Oh, okay.
But there is some stem stuff. We can done with it. Okay, so there's a rumor that black tea has the most caffeine, green tea has the least caffeine. You know, this sort of idea. That rumor is essentially false. Scientifically false, because we're using the same tea leaf in all of our teas, which means it's the same product, the same leaf, the same. You don't add caffeine by roasting. That's not how this game works. You don't add caffeine by roasting. Now, in most tea leaves, well, in all tea leaves, because we're using the same leaf, the most caffeine of the tea is actually at the tip of the leaf. This is why white tea can still have basically the same amount of tea than green
Caffeine.
tea. Or this is the same amount of caffeine than green tea. Because we're using the tip of the leaf. You notice how big this is. This is white tea. This is the tip of the leaf, essentially. You notice how big this still is. And this is kind of folded over. But yeah, most of the caffeine.
There you go.
But yeah, most of the caffeine is at the tip of the leaf. And then there's a little bit of caffeine throughout the base of the leaf, and essentially no caffeine in the stems. So thereby it is logical to assume that the higher quality of the tea, the more tips you're going to get in the tea. Tea bags, store-bought tea bags, are nothing but stems and bottoms. So there's almost no actual caffeine that they're trying to sell you there. And it's because if all the good stuff's in the tips and the as forward as the leaf goes, all the money is in the tips and as forward as the leaf goes. So the more tips you get in your tea, Darjeeling, the more expensive the tea is. And tea bags that you're buying at Walmart are cheap. So it's cheap tea. And so all you're getting is the cheapest part, basically, the throat. Also because it's sold to Americans. Well, there's a lot of movement in the tea industry to attempt to, like, there's a lot of really nice teas that you can't get imported because they don't export them. Especially in Thailand. Thailand has an entire culture of tea that outside of Thailand doesn't get to try because they just don't export it. Because tea, essentially, it's family farms, and tea essentially just it's brewed for the family first. Brewed for the family, brewed for the village first. Like, that's what they're trying to do.
I gotta just